Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we are discussing the Breitling Avi 765 1953 re-edition, best known by its nickname, Co-Pilot. This watch is a tribute and a faithful one to the model originally launched in 1953, and we'll talk about all of its heritage elements. But first, let's talk about the fit. This 2020 model year limited edition of 253 pieces is 41.1 millimeters in diameter, 14.2 millimeters thick, and 48.6 millimeters from lug to lug with a 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs. And that 22 millimeter lug spacing really is the most modern part of the design. Now on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, it wears pretty well, though it is quite broad across the wrist. So I'm going to recommend this for a wrist of 15 centimeters circumference or larger. It's low enough with its sloped bezel and cambered plexiglass crystal that it will slide underneath most cuffs and certainly just about all jacket sleeves. Taking a quick look at the strap, it's classical aviator. Calfskin, light brown with a contrasting stitch and a contrasting binding. It's sheer cut and very thick. You can see the layers of leather here. Breitling has always been very generous with the leather on its strap. It's yellow on the bottom, though you can't see that when it's on the wrist, and you can see it is a brand new Breitling factory strap. Taking a quick look at the buckle, it too is rose gold, and the watch includes a number of heritage elements from the beaded bezel to the relatively minimal beveling on the lugs to the narrow case band to the squared off lug ends. We have pump style pushers and a vintage style crown, and this is a bi-directional 12-hour bezel that can be used for timing or calculating depending on the necessities of flight duty. And though this watch is nicknamed the Co-Pilot, it is very much a watch for the pilot in command. If you're not into the technical aesthetic of the Navitimer, or you want a larger watch face that's easier to read, this could be your match. Now you can see, because this is a thermoplastic crystal, it's particularly domed and creates lovely nostalgic off-axis distortion. We have a lot of fauxtina on the style. We have syringe-style hour and minute hands, and then all of the hands are varnished white. Let's take a quick look at this loom, because the loom leaves nothing to be desired. You could see that there is a fully loomed bullseye over on the chronograph minutes register, and that the chronograph seconds hand is also loomed. Taking a look at the dial base, it's matte black to resist glare. We have a lovely vintage font used for the numerals. The Breitling logo is minimalist, and under new, or I guess we shouldn't call them new, but under now long-standing reformist Breitling CEO Georges Kern, the Breitling B no longer sports wings because he wants you to think of a land, air, and sea sports company. Nevertheless, the heritage of this watch is very much in the air. Pull the crown out, you activate hacking seconds. The chronograph, a manual wind adaptation of the B01 called the B09, is a certified chronometer with a column wheel function selector. And it has one of the loudest and most positive column wheel actions I've ever experienced. I actually prefer it to the dotograph, which is pretty much the benchmark for tactile feel of a chronograph column wheel. It's that good, and it sounds just as good. There's also vertical clutch engagement, so when you start the chronograph, there's no jump or stagger to the chronograph seconds hand. And if you wish, because of the vertical clutch, there's no additional wear and tear. You can leave the chronograph engaged full time. The watch is adjusted in 5 positions and chronometer certified. Manual wind, it has a 70-hour power reserve. It beats sway at 8 beats per second, and the movement pivots on 47 joules. It is 30 meters water resistant, so you want to keep this pilot's watch appropriately high and dry. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details of this Breitling Co-Pilot. One last quick note, you will observe that the minutes register is in 15-minute increments, which is an uncommon arrangement, so you want to keep an eye on that and be mindful of how many circuits the minute register has undertaken prior to determining the minutes elapsed.